Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is April and I'm on a journey to get healthy. I started this journey back on November 4th of last year and I have lost a total of 46.7 pounds. I didn't have a weigh-in last Friday, but today's weight had a loss of 1.3 pounds since my last week's weigh-in. I had an amazing time on my first cruise. Getting off to Tampa was a challenge though. Um, our group flew on Frontier Airlines and our flight was supposed to take off around 6 p.m. or so, but was delayed till 10 p.m. And then we were delayed again until 1:30 in the morning. So we started thinking we weren't going to get on this airplane and we tried booking with another airlines with no luck. I think everything was just booked completely full. We did finally take off at the 1:30 in the morning flight. And instead of rushing everyone on board due to the delays we had, that we were subjected to the personal item check to make sure that the carry-on fit in their little box that they had there. If it didn't fit, you were either forced to pay $100 or you had to rebook your flight. And we went online and checked it out, and there's people who are saying that the employees get $10 for every last minute checked luggage. I have not confirmed that with Frontier Airlines. And when we asked an employee about it, they denied or just ignored us when we asked about the bonus. Once we finally landed in Tampa, we finally got to the place we were staying around 5:30 or so. And so we slept for a few hours before heading to Tarpon Springs. Tarpon Springs is a Greek fishing community. We ate at Hella's restaurant and I had a Greek salad and it was really interesting. The salad had a scoop of potato salad under the lettuce, and on top of that was tomatoes and onions and green peppers and cucumbers and feta cheese and the Greek olives. Their Greek olives that they served there actually were still pitted. You had to take the pit off of them, or out of them. Their house dressing was really good. It was just kind of like a Greek Italian dressing. It was really worth going there, and the bakery was on a whole new level. I didn't eat anything at the bakery, but it smelled so good you really wanted to. I thought about bringing some baklava back for my husband, but I didn't think that was going to be a wise thing to have carrying that aboard the ship and everything, because they would probably just take it. We went shopping there into the numerous storefronts they had, and we made our way to Fred Howard Park. If you've never been to Fred Howard Park, it's in a residential area, but you drive in and it's a park, and it's just like a little piece of heaven. I have been to Fred Howard Park before with my husband, but if you've never been there, you might want to check the place out and add it to your bucket list. It is an absolutely beautiful place to go, and it's like a little hidden gem in Florida. We walked in the sands. It was so nice, and we picked up steaks at one of the grocery stores there to cook for dinner. And luckily, one of our friends that came with us is a manager at an Applebee's restaurant, and she offered to cook our dinner for us. The next morning, I kind of woke up a little nauseous and I started getting motion sickness. I've had vertigo off and on for the last few years, and I thought I was going to be heading home since there was no way I could get on a cruise ship with having vertigo. Friends came to the rescue though. They ran to CVS and they got me Gatorade and the motion sickness bracelets to wear. So after drinking a whole bottle of Gatorade, I started feeling much better. So I was thinking I might have been dehydrated because the night before I exercised on the enclosed patio and I was really sweating a whole lot. So I think that has something to do with it, that I was dehydrated. Now we were packed and headed for the Tampa Bay port, and our adventure begins. My first day on the ship started off with a 70-minute massage. It felt so good, and I was so relaxed that I fell asleep. The entertainment on the cruise ship was fantastic. The food we ate was really good and delicious. We ate at the buffet for breakfast, and I usually had scrambled eggs with some sauteed mushrooms with salsa on it and fresh fruit. And lunch was always, wherever we were on port. So, and dinner we had a dining room reservations at 8:15 every night. So for a sit down menu. Some of the nights in the dining room were theme nights. We had Italian, French, Mexican nights. The dining staff was like over the top friendly, very accommodating with our substitutions. I think they thought we were nuts when, you got your vegetable on your plate and it was like a broccoli with two little round carrots, and we'd go back and order whole plates of vegetables. But anyhow, they were awesome. I tried new things like Indian food that I've never, have tasted before. We sampled everyone's plate, just checking out to see what everybody ordered. For dinner, I either drank water or unsweetened iced tea, and I had a couple of fruit smoothies during the sightseeing and while laying in the sun on the boat. They were very accommodating. Also, filling up my water bottle with ice water. So that was great for them to do that for me. I loved being in Key West, and we had lunch at a place called Ram's Head Southernmost Bar. We sat on the patio, and there were chickens like just walking around everywhere around us. And the waiter was fantastic that we had there. I tried conch fritters for the first time, and oh my God, they were like delicious. Good thing I don't live there. um, so I also had a Cobb salad that was really good there. I wanted to go to the Hemingway's house. I walked past there and they had a line like wrapped around the place. So eventually I do want to go back there and tour the house and see that. We walked the streets and went shopping. That day in Key West, I had the most steps in ever. We walked everywhere and it was so hot that day, but I loved it and I want to go back. In the Bahamas, we got off the ship and we took a taxi ride from the port to Cabbage Beach. We were dropped off at a private road access to the beach. It was kind of a little scary, but we started walking down the road. We ran into some locals. They were renting beach chairs and they were offering us tropical drink specials. The weather was absolutely beautiful and it was a spectacular day. I can never get tired of watching the waves sitting on the lounge chair at the beach. The locals were so easygoing, and no wonder, I would love to live there someday. But once we were back to the port area, we stopped at a local market and we had more conch fritters. I didn't think they were good, but I didn't think they were as good as that restaurant in Key West. So I've tried it twice now, so I'll see how it goes. I might do it again, maybe. I'm not currently doing my aerobic walking right now. While on the cruise ship, we went to their nightclub and I was dancing like I was 18 again, and I did something to my hip. We were dancing to Flow Rider's Low song, and well, I went a little too low and I was in pain. So I'm just not currently doing the aerobic walking. I'm just walking normal until it feels better. If I pulled something, I would say probably in another week or less, I should be back up and doing my aerobic walking. So I'm hoping that it's gonna be less, but I just want to make sure everything is all healed before I start doing that again. Back on the ship, I went to the gym that was like nearly empty, and I walked on the treadmill for 3 miles, and they had the doors open, so it was still air conditioned, but the doors were open, and I was sweating like crazy. I also walked on the outdoor walking path that wrapped around the ship on most days. The ship stores offered duty-free alcohol, and I picked up a couple bottles for my niece because the bottle she wanted was not sold in the U.S. I put the alcohol in my suitcase, but it put me over on the weight I was allowed to carry on my luggage. I can only go up to 40 pounds, and I had to move things around. I think I took my shoes out and I moved them into my carry-on. Anyhow, 40 pounds, I could barely lift that suitcase, and I've lost over 40 pounds. And it's just crazy to think that I used to carry around that extra weight. And I know I still have a lot more to go, but it just blows my mind. I had a fantastic time on my cruise that I went on. And now I'm an experienced cruiser now. When I got home, I weighed myself, and the very next morning, and I had gained a little over 2 pounds on that cruise. And then over the next couple of days, I lost that weight. I really watched what I ate, but I still enjoyed my meals. and had an amazing time. I sampled the foods. I didn't overindulge in them. So I just want to thank everyone for watching my videos. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Join me on this crazy journey to get healthy. And I will see you next week. Have a great week. Bye.